as a young Britannian prince, Lelouch suffers the loss of his mother, the royal consort Marianne V. Britannia, as she is ruthlessly murdered in the palace. His sister, Nunnally V. Britannia, goes blind and loses the ability to walk after witnessing their mother's gruesome assassination. Their father, Emperor Charles Z. Britannia, dismisses their traumatic experience and instead sends them to Japan as pawns for his war strategy. Soon after, Lelouch and his sister watch as Japan falls to Britain's vicious attack and perceive the horrors of the war. Filled with pain and resentment, Lelouch vows to destroy Britain and to eradicate the cruelty that it represents. Welcome to Anime Extra. In today's video, we're going to go over the life of Lelouch V. Britannia. Before we begin, we publish new videos every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. At his high school, Ashford Academy, Lelouch is a popular but reserved student, maintaining a mysterious demeanor. One particular day, on his way back from school, he becomes entangled in an ongoing resistance mission by a rebel group of fighters. At this point, he meets a peculiar girl named CC, who saves his life and gives him the power of Geass, before sacrificing herself. The Geass enables Lelouch to bend anyone's will and to subject them to any action that he desires. However, the Geass works only once for an individual, and that too in the occurrence of direct eye contact. This overwhelming ability is called the Power of Kings. Lelouch plans on using the Geass to discover the truth about his mother's death, which leads him to the murder of multiple high-ranking Britannian officials. After Lelouch kills off Viceroy Clovis, who was commanding the annihilation of the resistance forces as well as innocent civilians, Lelouch's former friend gets framed for the Viceroy's murder. As a result, Lelouch takes on the masked identity of Zero. He rescues his friend Suzaku from the execution and publicly announces his role and position as Zero. Cornelia Lee Britannia becomes the newly appointed viceroy and devises a plan to lure in Zero at the Saitama ghetto by publicly announcing the attack. Lelouch falls into the trap and barely escapes with his identity intact with the help of CC. As an attempt to rise as a formidable force against Britannia, Lelouch forms and leads a resistance group called the Order of the Black Knight. He attempts to organize the resistance group as the number of recruits increases and the group gains popularity in Japan. With preparations ready for battle, Zero orders the Black Knights to initiate a spontaneous assault on the Britannian army from the top of the Narita mountain. The Knights launch an explosion that triggers landslides, effectively obliterating an entire enemy unit. Zero taunts Jeremiah, giving the Black Knights the opportunity to destroy Jeremiah's nightmare, compelling him to fall back. Cornelia's bodyguards are finished off by Todo and the Four Holy Swords. Though Zero and his forces eventually retreat, they leave with considerable damage inflicted upon the Britannian army, hence being victorious in the battle. Due to the Black Knights' growing success and popularity, the rest of the resistance groups join them too. Princess Euphemia forms a special administrative zone for the Japanese civilians, proposing it to be an exclusive region for them to retain their rights and live peacefully. Zero is distrustful of the strategy and plans on uncovering the true agenda behind it. Before the ceremony where the civilians would regain their rights, Zero privately confronts Euphemia and provokes her into taking an aggressive stance to reveal her true intentions. However, she, in turn, persuades him into joining forces with her for the cause of bringing peace and prosperity back to the region. Alas, Zero accidentally activates his Geass, which influences Euphemia and forces her to command her forces to wipe out the Japanese. Eventually, Zero is left with no choice but to announce Euphemia as the enemy and to kill her in order to end the bloodshed. This traumatic incident shakes Lelouch to the core and breeds doubt into his mind about the power and limitations of the Geass, as well as the loopholes of his vision. Regardless, Zero uses Euphemia's berserk actions as the instigation for the Black Rebellion. The resistance groups launch a state of anarchy throughout the region and push back on the Britannian forces. However, the rebellion is unsuccessful and crushed by the enemy, with the Black Knights losing a great deal of manpower as a result. The situation becomes further complicated for Lelouch when Vivi reveals his identity to Suzaku. However, Suzaku stays in denial and follows Zero as he goes after Nunnally to rescue her from Vivi. Suzaku is presented with the opportunity to confront Zero in front of the Black Knight Callan. Zero's identity is revealed to both of them as Lelouch as his mask breaks off when Suzaku shoots him. Lelouch acknowledges the tight spot he's in and tries to convince Suzaku to team up with him to save Nunnally. Suzaku refuses and successfully arrests Lelouch. Lelouch is dragged to the Emperor by Suzaku, who expresses immense disgust towards his former friend. At this point, Lelouch's memories are erased by the Emperor as he screams in agony, begging him not to do so. A year later, Lelouch is a normal student at Ashford Academy, with no recollection of his past or his former identity as Zero. He skips school with Rollo and heads to Babel Tower, where he challenges an illegal chess champion. The Black Knights attack the Babel Tower with the help of CC in order to retrieve Lelouch and reveal the truth to him. In the chaos, Lelouch gets separated from Rollo and perceives the cruelties inflicted by the Britannica army everywhere around him. The unnecessary violence and blatant abuse of power clearly discomforts him. As CC finally approaches him, she is shot by one of the Britannica soldiers from the back. Lelouch feels an overwhelming state of helplessness and hopelessness as he watches the soldiers prepare to gun him down. Suddenly, CC regains her consciousness and returns Lelouch's memories to him. With his memories back, Lelouch's Geass is active again. He uses it against the soldiers who end up killing each other. At the same moment, Suzaku, enraged with everything that Lelouch has done in the past, vows to the Emperor that he would personally execute Zero. Lelouch manipulates Rollo into teaming up with him by taking a bullet for him to sway his feelings. Lelouch believes Rollo to be valuable for his cause, as he also possesses the Geass power, and so he decides to use Rollo for his own benefit. Unaware of Nunnally's whereabouts, and discovering that everyone's memories at Ashford Academy have been rewritten, Lelouch feels his frustration building up. To make matters worse, Suzaku returns to the high school, adding more pressure on Lelouch to keep everything under control so that his situation is not uncovered. Suzaku tries to provoke him by telling him that he intends to become the Knight of One, and then takes it up a notch by deceiving him into engaging in a call with Nunnally on the other line. Fortunately, Rollo is lurking at the stairs and he uses his Geass to pause time, which gives Lelouch the chance to reveal his identity and situation to Nunnally without Suzaku finding out. Lelouch plans on capturing Nunnally with the help of the Black Knights, but the mission ends up as an utter failure. Therefore, with his sister as the new viceroy, he concedes that he cannot work against her, and requests the exile of Zero from the country in return for convincing 1 million Japanese citizens to become a part of the Special Administrative Zone. On the day of the ceremony, all of the citizens show up in Zero's costume, compelling Suzaku to grant exile to all of them. Hence, the Black Knights retreat to the Chinese Federation. Here, Lelouch embarks on his mission to form alliances with the rest of the powerful nations of the world. As the alliance of the United Federation of Nations is declared by Lelouch, the first course of action is to liberate Japan from the imperial rule of Britannia. During the Battle of Tokyo, Prince Schneizel addresses the core team of the Black Knights and turns them against Zero by playing a recording from Lelouch's personal meeting with Suzaku, where he accepts responsibility for the massacre that took place at the SZA ceremony. Lelouch moves on to challenge the Emperor without the support of the Black Knights. Upon discovering the truth about his mother, Lelouch is infuriated with the manipulation and flawed system that his parents tried to establish through their ruthlessness. With the help of Suzaku and CC, he kills the Britannian Emperor and Empress. Lelouch then becomes the 99th Emperor of Britannia, and pledges to end the useless pain and suffering that had plagued the world for so long. Using his authority, he stays true to his word and liberates the colonies, putting an end to the oppressive system that reigned before. However, this seems to be a ruse, as Lelouch actually plans on spreading his influence and conquering the rest of the world. Lelouch faces complications in his world domination plans as he realizes a significant voting bloc in Britannia against him. Furthermore, the reappearance of Nunnally and her political stance against him tests the determination of his plans. With Suzaku and CC on his side, Lelouch is is able to deactivate the Fleija by using his Geass on Nunnally, hereby succeeding in overturning all of the opposition forces. At the public execution of the resistance forces, Zero makes a surprise appearance. As part of their plan, Suzaku in Zero's disguise attacks Lelouch and impales him with his sword. In this way, the world would direct all of its bitterness and resentment at Lelouch, blaming him for the suffering. As a result, with the annihilation of the Emperor, the evil would be eradicated and peace would be regained. Did you enjoy our video? Make sure to check out these other great videos from Anime Extra. And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of all our latest videos.